Hey guys, it's Sam here and welcome back to another video, and I wanted to sit down and talk about the job that they've just finished, that was very short, and sort of talk about my experience and talk a bit about anxiety, because that's what it came down to. Now, the job I had was a recruitment resourcer, so think of it like the middleman. So there will be a job that obviously needs people, is recruiting, and they will come to the company that I work for and say we have jobs available, and we would then call these people up. They've applied for the job, we'd call them up, ask them if they're still interested, tell them a bit about the job, the pay, everything like that, and then get them on an induction to see the sites, or have like basically a trial. And so that was the job, and it's very simple. In the head it's easy, it sounds really easy, and for someone that is shy, quiet and nervous like myself, that can be very tricky. And I just needed a job. So what I do is I'm on something called Universal Credit, and means that I had to go to a job centre pretty much every week. And whilst I was unemployed I've only been on Universal Credit for not that long. It's been a few weeks. But before I got the job, I was going in every week, sometimes twice a week, because they'd have something called jobs fairs, where it's like mini interviews. You sit down, they tell you about the job, you speak a bit about yourself, and then you decide if you want to apply for the job or not, and they'll also decide if they want you or not. So I was at the job fair, and this job came up, and it was different, something completely way out of my comfort zone, and I went for it. I just said yes without really thinking too much, because I was just like, this is a big opportunity to have a job. I can finally have a job, I can start earning, and I'll be back in the world of employment. However, like I said, I didn't really think too much about it, and I just went in and said yes without really digging deep and being like, is it something I can do? And so I started Monday, and everything was normal. It was just setting up the laptop, setting up everything, like my accounts and stuff. I went on an induction, leading an induction with a guy called Chris at Hermes here in Warrington, and that was because I'd never seen the inside of a warehouse before, so they wanted me to go and see the inside so that I could tell them, so that I would know, I'd have a visual image of, whilst I was explaining about warehouse jobs, I had a visual image of what it would look like, and maybe being able to explain it a bit better. So that was the first day. It was very simple. It was literally just sat there listening to everyone else in the office, taking calls, and everything. That was fine. I was like, seems simple enough, I could do this. The second day, which obviously was the Tuesday, I was taken out of the room into a different room so that I could make calls, and don't get me wrong, I was nervous, but I did it, and it was just getting over a hurdle. It was each time I rang someone, there was that feeling when you get a feeling in your stomach and the nerves and everything each time it happened, and it just didn't seem to go. In fact, it seemed to get worse each call I made, and I was like, that's okay, that's just me getting used to it. I'll be fine. I woke up at 4:20 Wednesday morning, and I felt awful. My stomach was not in a good place. It felt really bad, and I couldn't get back to sleep. I was like, I was so worried and anxious and everything that I couldn't get back to sleep, and I was feeling very ill, and I just went, look, I'll go, I'll see how I am, and then we'll be fine. I start at 9, and I think this happened at 11 something, so I was only there for about 2 hours, and I was like, it wasn't going, it was getting gradually worse, and I would type the number into the phone, but I'd just stare at the number, and my hands would visibly be shaking. I would be shaking, my whole body felt like it was shaking. I just couldn't press the call button. I would just look at it, and I'd be like, I'd just freeze, and I'd just start shaking, and I'd be like, I can't do that. I can't do it, and it's literally the main part of the job, is ringing them and then putting it on a spreadsheet. So it's very minimal admin and massive calling, and I can't do it. And I was like, I'm gonna be sick. So I went to the bathroom, and lo and behold, I was. And I came back, and I just said to this girl that worked there, do I look pale? And she was like, why, do you not feel well? I was like, no, I've just been sick. So another girl got me a glass of water. I started sipping that down, and I didn't feel good. It was raining, but I decided to walk home, because I was like, if it's a bug, the fresh air will do me good. I walked home. It was only 20 minutes away, so it's really not that long. So I did that, and then I got straight in my pyjamas, got in bed, and just do what I do all day, every day, and that's watch YouTube. I just did that, and then a little while later, my mum came up and was like, do you feel better? I was like, well, actually, I think she was like, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel a bit better, but I still don't feel great. And she was like, do you think it's because you worked yourself up about it? And in my head, I never thought it was anxiety, because this has never happened to me before. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been nervous, I've had that fear, I feel like I have a little bit of like social anxiety, where social situations scare me. Like, each time I'm trying to find the exit, like I'm trying to find a way to back out. If my friends are meeting up, sometimes I just be like, I can't make it, I don't feel well, or I've got prior stuff, when sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do, sometimes I genuinely don't feel well, or I do have other stuff going on. But there are other times where I literally don't, but it's just because I really don't want to go, because I can't physically get in it. I feel very awkward each time I'm in a social situation. I'm like, where's the exit? I need to know where the exit is, because I don't want to be here. It's really, really strange, but that's the only sort of anxiety I would say I've dealt with. Actual physical, like where I've made myself sick because of something that I've been worrying about has never happened before. And so I was like, I don't know, maybe, because previous, for the rest of the week I felt okay. Last night I felt good, apart from when I woke up at 4:20. That was the only time I didn't feel well. And I just felt weird. And then throughout the week as well, whilst I was working there, I was having dreams about losing my teeth. And I googled that yesterday, and it is, studies have said that it is a sign of anxiety, which again, like I just said, it's never happened to me before. So I was so shocked and confused about it. But the reason I want to tell you guys is if someone happens to stumble upon this video that does suffer with anxiety or maybe is suffering, maybe is anxious about something, then they can know that they're not alone. There's someone here that's done that, that's going through it, and I couldn't physically do it anymore. Some people could. Some people would say that it would have been better to try and conquer the fear and do it, but I didn't feel it was in the best interest if I was making, for my mental health and also for my physical health. If I'm making myself sick, if I go back again, I could be sick again, and that's obviously not healthy mentally or physically. So yeah, that's where I called quits on it, and I did feel like a failure. I did feel like a failure. I felt like I let everyone down. I felt like I let the people there down. Because they'd gone out through their way to employ someone for them to stop after 2 days, 2 full days anyway, and like a little bit, like 2 hours on the third day. I felt really bad for them. I felt like I'd let my whole family down. I felt like a failure because I had a job previously this year. I was there for a month. I quit. I have another job. I've waited months in between, and I'm there 2 days, and I quit. Like I genuinely have felt like a failure in that, and a lot of things have been said. A lot of reassurances that it's not. I've not let people down. I've not failed. It's you're still finding what you want to do. Some job, not all jobs are going to be for you. You're going to do jobs where you find out they're not for you, and constantly have been told that you want to find a job that you enjoy and that you enjoy going to, because if you don't enjoy going to it, then obviously it's not going to make your life great. So that has been my experience. It's weird because, as I've said previously, I think twice now in this video, it's never happened before. So I genuinely, I don't know, I think I'm still processing it, but what I would say is try, if you are going through it, I would try and speak to someone, even if it's a co-worker, parents, family member. If you go through the same thing, I would definitely say talk to someone, because it definitely helped. It reassured me that my mindset was that leaving so early isn't always a bad thing, and that it can be for the best. And also it really helped me understand why I was feeling it, why I was constantly getting this feeling in my stomach, whilst I was, why I kept freezing and looking at the phone and not calling anyone, why I was shaking, why I was feeling very ill, why I just didn't feel enjoyment in it, and that is why, you know, I am very shocked because it was the last thing I thought, because I thought if I put my mind to something I could do it, but I've realised in the past that hasn't always been the case, because at school I wasn't very academic. You know, I wasn't great at math, wasn't great at English. You know, it took me a long time to actually learn to write properly. Like, my handwriting was appalling through primary school, and I had to get help in high school to learn to handwrite properly so that the teachers could read it. My reading also wasn't great. It's good, but it's not great. I think you've probably seen in videos, in games where I've had to read things, I have struggled. That's genuine. Like, I did that at school as well. I'm not very, I wasn't very academic, but I had it all in here. So I knew what I wanted to write, I knew how I wanted to say things, I knew what I wanted to do, but getting it on paper was the hardest thing. Getting it from the mind to the pen to the paper, I couldn't do. It just wouldn't go right. And that was a struggle. And then here in my head, I was like, it's simple. It's literally just calling people. I had what I wanted to say. I had how it was going to go. I had everything. It was perfect. But when it came to doing it, I just couldn't. And it's my first real experience properly with anxiety, of being genuinely fearful of something and genuine nervous of where I froze. Like, that just doesn't happen to me. So it's really strange and weird, but as I've said, you know, the best thing to do is just talk to someone about it, because 9 times out of 10 they're not going to blame you for it, because it's not something you can control. You know, it's, you want to do it. Like, I wanted to do it, but I couldn't physically do it, and that's the point. You know, no one's gonna blame you for that. No one's gonna. So I mean, you might get a couple of people here and there, but they're not. I don't really think they properly understand. But the people that are, like the people that are closest to you, are gonna understand that you can't control that, and that it's not your fault, and that, you know, there will be other things later in life. You know, I'm 21. I've now had 2 jobs this year, which is, you know, my first 2 tastes of work. Sorry, that cut me off there. But as I was saying, that is my first 2 tastes of work. You know, so in next year, I want a job that I'm going to stick at. That is going to be my New Year's resolution. Is to have a job where stick at a job for at least 6 months, hopefully, because then I could say that I gave it a proper go. But, you know, from now on, I am going to make sure that I analyse or acknowledge what the job entails fully before saying yes to it, because although I need a job, I don't want to go through this again. So I know for a fact that call centres or jobs that involve heavy phone calling isn't going to be something for me. It's not going to be something that I can do. So at least I have found that out. But yeah, I hope this video has helped. I don't know if I've said anything that's going to help you, but you know, just know that you're not alone. You know, there's someone here, the other end, that has gone through it, and even though it's only happened once to me, I've had a taste of that, and you know, I'm not gonna. I don't want to go through that again. And talking about it really did help. So I would definitely say, if you are struggling with anxiety, definitely speak to someone, because it is massive that you do that. For me, physical and mental health come before anything. You know, if you're physically unwell or mentally unwell, I would advise stop whatever it is that you're doing and seek help, because if you don't, then you could go into a place that you really don't want to go into. And oh yeah, I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
I know we grew up a little too fast. I miss the days that we chill and relax. Where did the time go? It all passed, now I need to go back. I had no worries but always had plans. The only thing I did was dig out the trash. Now it's much harder to laugh, hard to get up and then work on my craft. I need inspiration, don't need no validation. No more medication, just try some meditating. I don't need you to save me, feel like all of you hate me. Everything's been so hard with all the situations lately. I just need to numb the pain for a minute. I just wanna run away on vacation. I don't know what else to say.